You're still watching the Afia Business Morning. This is the Eastern Business Report, which is designed to bring you up to speed on business activities and policies, of course, affecting businesses and the economy of the southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes right after Global Business on the Afia Business Morning. And on today's edition of the Eastern Business Report, we will be looking at issues bordering on, well, the Dangote Refinery breaking a 28-year jinx, where, of course, a petrol sample was presented, and on the other hand, Port-Harcourt Refinery fails on its deadline. And like I did say yesterday while talking about the oil industry developments, let me reiterate the fact that anything that affects the production, offer, supply, and distribution of petroleum products in Nigeria will by extension affect the Southeast directly. Having said that, let me bring you up to speed on the fact that Aliko Dangote, the president of the Dangote Group, has broken a 28-year jinx as he unveils samples of its premium motor spirit PLS and diesel products to Nigerians at the groundbreaking broadcast as at yesterday. I'm also interested to know that Dangote made the presentation at this giant 650,000 barrel per day facility in Lagos after it engaged in a test run, assuring that the facility will eliminate all forms of fuel queues in Nigeria. This is as Nigeria, Africa's biggest oil producer, has relied on imported petroleum products for over 2 decades. The business tycoons say the petroleum and diesel have undergone a series of laboratory tests to ensure a sulfur content meets global standards, among other things. Now, these issues and more will form the basis of our conversation this morning. My name is Ubong Kings. Welcome. Yeah, welcome back to the Eastern Business Report. Joining me on this conversation is none other than Emmanuel Chime, who is a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you join us, Emmanuel. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ubong Kings. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, before I come to you and ask you whatever, let us take a look at this particular, a lot of persons say, groundbreaking event. Let's take a look at that video. When we come back, we'll talk about it. Okay. Please, let's see it.
I would like to salute the people of Nigeria and the government of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for creating the environment for us to thrive and also achieve this monumental task of giving energy to our people for growth, development, and prosperity. I think this has been really a very, very great, move. And I think I want to personally also thank Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for creating this idea of Naira for crude and also Naira for the product. Doing that, it will give a lot of stability for the Naira, where now you remove 40% of the demand of dollars in the market, and that will actually stabilize the market. But that's not it. As you know, there's quite a lot of what you call round tripping, where people now do documentation and the fuel does not come into Nigeria, and this is a fact. So right now, as we have this refinery working, it will show the true consumption of Nigeria. We can track every single loaded trucks, and we will try as much as possible to track the loaded ships. Trucks, we can tell you where they are. Just like now in some of the products that we do, we can tell you exactly the consumption pattern and co. But that is a discussion for another day. Today's discussion is just to celebrate and to thank God Almighty for bringing us to this stage of now producing gasoline. And I know that a lot of people have not actually believed that we'll be able to deliver, but we've been able to deliver. We must thank the president and also the government for making this possible. Without their support, there's no way we'll be where we are. So we thank them, and I hope this refinery will actually change the entire dynamics, not only in Nigeria, but in sub-Saharan Africa. The capacity that we have will not only meet up with the Nigeria's demand, will meet up the demand of the sub-Saharan Africa at least. So we thank you very much for your support. We will now take you. You can see that this is the sample. This is the sample of the petrol. It might be a little bit, you see it like a different color, but that's the real this thing. So you are now going to have good petrol where the engines of your vehicles will last longer. You will not be having an engine issue, which a lot of us were having. It won't happen at all. The quality here will match that of quality of anywhere in the world. US, America, we will make sure that nobody will beat us in terms of quality. So thank you very much. It's not, it's a celebration day. And also to give thanks to, Almighty God, to give thanks to Mr. President, to give, and also some friends that, they've been very, very supportive in making sure that, yes, they push us, give us sleepless nights to make sure that, yes, we don't disappoint them. This refinery produces, gasoline. So we are now here. So thank you very much for all your support. We now go to the gantry where you see the loaded trucks, and as soon as we finalize with, the NMPC, our products will start going into the market. And, again, like what I said today, we actually help to restore industry and manufacturing. We will begin real import substitution, which is what we have, saving our nation foreign exchange, and also earning foreign exchange, which will stabilize the naira, like what I said earlier on, and it will also help bring down inflation and cost of living. Yeah. This one is the gasoline, this is the PMS. You can see the diesel. Because I'm sure most Nigerians, they have never ever seen this color of diesel. But this is what you call Euro 5 diesel. It's less than 10 ppm. And, that is sulfur-wise. Okay, so this is what will really help, actually, to help the engines, vehicles, you name it, generators. They will last much, much longer. The health of people to the environment will not be polluted. This is the real thing. Euro 5 diesel for the first time in the history of Nigeria.
Oh, well, you've seen it for yourself, and a lot of persons believe this is a great development. But then again, I still have my guest here, and we're going to start from his thoughts. So tell me, Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this development?
Okay, I would say congratulations to our economy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, to our economy. And I would say congratulations to Dangote Refinery and Dangote Group as well for this wonderful feat. The truth is that we wouldn't have to battle or keep battling with the issue of narratives of import duties any longer. And of course, talking about subsidy this, subsidy that. Maybe I think the narratives and the shenanigans surrounding subsidy saga maybe would die naturally by now. And saying that they rightly produce to supply solely, say it exclusively to NMPCL, I think it's going to be a very beautiful one for Nigerians. If only NMPC is not going to be building another story to tell us, because the other time they rightly said that because of rain, thunderstorm, lightning, I wouldn't know who have offended the firmament of the universe, who is running from rain and thunderstorm on the high sea, that will now say that this is why we too are not having supplies. But recently we have been able to discover that we're actually owing to the brim. That's why we are not having supplies. So, but the other time they were telling us that it was as a result of rain. Yeah. Had it been that sun started shining so high, they would have said that the sun is too high. At a time, maybe wind comes, they will say that we have volcanic eruption, and that is the reason. So, for goodness sake, we want to wish that we're not going to be having another surprises from NNPC going forward. Because this particular one now is that they are sourcing the local raw material, they are sourcing the raw materials from the local content and producing locally. So, what we are now looking at is spreading it and circulating it to various end users. Right. So, we want to believe that it's not going to attract other stories that will pad up the cost.
Talking about stories, let me give you a story. Okay, because one of the things that Dangote did say in that reportage was that he's going to produce an NNPC in charge of distribution, and that also means NNPC in charge of determining prices.
Yes. Now
the question is, okay, well, earlier this morning while I was on radio, one of the things that was said, one of the things I saw in the papers was a lot of persons are of the opinion that NNPC should not determine the rates, shouldn't determine price. Let market forces, etc., determine the rates. What are your thoughts on this, really?
Yes, NNPC should not do that. Government shouldn't be interested in business. Government should not have any business in business. On a normal note, just create the atmosphere, thriving atmosphere for everybody, and allow people to play in. Simple. Forces of the market will decide the price. And meanwhile, we'll have competition in the market. Then that competition factor is going to now bring in stabilizing the prices of things in the market. But when NNPC fix their own price, for instance, as at yesterday, they have been able to fix the price at 897 naira.
But they were selling at 995 naira a pump price in Abuja. This is the issue.
Thank you. So in that order now, and everybody want to go to NNPC. And now when you know that NNPC is the last resort, that if NNPC did not sell, in fact, any rate at which NNPC sells, then you discover that other marketers are going to be saying a bit higher than NNPC. But in this context now, when you start having NNPC fixing the price at whatsoever rate, then it's going to be a mess in the market. And meanwhile, if they fix it at anywhere, and maybe other marketers that have imported theirs and are now struggling to sell at the rate where they will be able to recover the monies that they have spent on importation cost, then you discover the NNPC is going to stop them from making their way through, because they will now determine the price and they will now block them from selling, because the other way around, people will not see where they are selling cheaper, and meanwhile the same quality or even higher quality, and they will now start going to where it is being sold at a higher cost. People will not do that. The NNPC is not going to play a very good role in that order. I wish that NNPC remove their hands there, and I wish that what we are going to do now is let the government issue further licenses to other intending investors in the area of refineries again, so that we don't have issue of monopoly here.
Right. That's one of the other issues that was brought up in the conversation. Monopoly in the place of local refineries. But that's a story for another day. Now let's look at something very critical here with reference to this. As that September the 1st, the Port-Harcourt refinery was supposed to start working. As a matter of fact, there were promises that September 1st, the Port-Harcourt refinery would begin to refine and we'll be seeing products, but that has not happened. And this is one of the issues that bedeviled the Port-Harcourt refinery. Now, putting that side by side with the fact that Dangote when did Dangote start building, where he's finished and now he's producing. Now, do you see this as a system error with reference to governance?
Okay, Obon, you remember that under the S2I President Muhammadu Buhari, this same Melekere, rightly made a solemn promise to Nigerians.
Right.
That was in the year 2019. He rightly talked, addressing the public, he rightly said that under the president, Assad then, that NNPC's owned refineries, scattered across, are going to start functioning to the full capacity.
Yes.
He said under the political lifespan of the president, as a president sitting, he said before the president leaves
in his office, all of them
will come to life.
Yeah.
Now, remember, when a man in his capacity is talking in this manner, he's talking because he knows that monies are being released to back up the statement. Right. Lots of monies.
Right.
Trillions of naira. Or you may want to convert it to dollar. You have billions of dollars there.
That's right.
And today we have not seen that happen. Maybe I wouldn't know if President Muhammadu Buhari, S2I President Muhammadu Buhari, maybe I wouldn't know if he's still on seats by now. I wouldn't know. Maybe somewhere he's still on seats. I wouldn't know. Maybe that particular statement is still subsisting. But the other way around, just to tell you that the failure has started from a long time. They've been making public statements, just creating those statements. Meanwhile, each time a statement of that nature is being made, then a lot of monies are being gobbled off from our economy.
Right.
And few individuals take it into their pockets. Why would I say so emphatically? Because if those monies are being invested in those refineries, for goodness sake, we're talking about just revamping the one that is already there, just bringing it back to life.
Yeah.
But we're talking of a man who have just started his own from scratch.
Yes.
From a bare ground. He started his own and he's able to complete it. And this one, we're only talking about how to service those machinery right there, so that they come back to function. So, for goodness sake, what happened is that we have Melekari and we have his cohorts who have been embezzling our money, who have not been able to account for the monies that they have been able to be taken for all this for years now. And was it not the voice that they now give us the one that broke our own Jinx today by saying that we are owing $6 billion US dollars. Yes. So for goodness sake, how do we owe the money? How? We have been paying subsidy. Subsidies have been removed from our coffers every month. The subsidy being removed, that was on 29th of May, 2023. So subsidies have been paid over the years. So what happened that we are owing? So who is it that is holding us down to our knees in this country? For goodness sake, we don't see EFCC working. Persons should come to table and be able to give us an account on what happened. We have been paying. So does it mean that we have been paying to ghosts? Or does it mean that we have been able to, we have lost the documents with which we used to pay?
Maybe rats ate the document.
We cannot, even if rats ate the document, transactions that took place in the bank, rats shouldn't go into the internet or into the bank's website and clean it off.
We've seen a lot of narratives.
So for goodness sake, persons are supposed to answer questions in this country.
Now,
so why are we owing?
Just hold on. Just hold on to that thought. One other thing that was, like I did say, we've heard stories that rats entered a government house and ate up money. We've also had monkey. We also had snake. We've had a lot of things.
Right, so just in a way, the president from office.
You get it.
We know about those.
Okay, so now the question really is, when it comes to the oil sector, do you think or do you see the possibility of the Dangote Refinery standing the test of time? We're just seeing a flicker of hope. Do you see this transcending years of existence? Or do you see a possibility of politics coming into the picture? Okay,
yes. Politics is going to play out, magnificently. Dangote Refinery is going to be so vulnerable if they allow that refinery, that innocent refinery, to be used for such political shenanigans. Reason, we have been paying subsidy over the years. We have never owed. It have never been owed. Our economy have never witnessed that we are owing subsidy. That's why this year, or that's why this month, so money, we're able to go into circulation or thereabout. All the years we have been paying, and that's why our economy has been the way it has been. But today we are being told that we are owing for over 10 years. We are owing over 6 billion naira. That means $6 billion US dollars.
Yes.
So if such a thing is happening, the money is being taken from our economy, but the money is not being expended for the reason why it is being taken from our economy. And most of the money we even borrowed from international coffers and brought into our economy. And we use it to pay for subsidy. Now, Dangote is not going to be free. It's not going to be different from other ones that are complaining today, international oil marketers that are complaining today, that we are owing them. It's not going to be different from them. Dangote you have already said that he's going to sell exclusively to NNPCL. Now, what about you supply to NNPCL? And after supplying and they sell, they now say, okay, we're going to be paying maybe 30% that we have not finished selling. Then supply again, and you supply, and you say that we're going to pay 40%. We're not finished selling. When we finish selling, then we'll pay you. Then they supply again. At the time, you now discover that they have been able to owe them, and what they are now owing them is capable of crippling or affecting the production capacity or production abilities of that particular industry. Yeah. Now, what do you think will happen? Then at a time, they will now get to a point where they will tell Dangote, they will give him a condition. Because the other way around, they are still the ones who are giving him access to the crude.
Yes.
Now, they will start giving him some conditions. At a time, they will start telling him the persons who are going to make up the board members in the industry. What do you think will happen? Then you start seeing those those politics playing in. At a time, before you know what is happening, the refineries and its affairs begins to go down. Then at a time, it will begin to affect every strata of the lives of our economy. And every common man in society will begin to suffer it. Just like what we are suffering now. That we're now buying a liter of petroleum currently at 1,000 plus.
Yes.
So for goodness sake, this is not what we bargained for. So if care is not taken, if Dangote did not take proper care, Dangote is going to play into the hands of our dirty politicians, and it's not going to be a very good one for the business outfit.
Okay, now quickly, just before we wrap up, because we're about to wrap this up. Now let's take a look quickly at NLC. NLC is saying that the federal government has to reverse this hike in fuel prices immediately, with reference to the hike. There was a hike actually, and it was raised to, pump price was raised to about 855 naira for a liter of petrol. But incidentally, according to our reports, NNPCL in Abuja is selling at 995 naira. That's the truth. That's what it is. Instead of at 855, it's selling at 995 naira. Question really is, where are we going with all of these narratives? NLC is on the other side saying they should reverse that, or else there will be an industrial action. What are your thoughts?
Okay, the other way around, Obon, you remember that there was a dragged negotiation between NLC and the federal government on the issue of minimum wage, new minimum wage tenure, yes. So, and you know that it took several months for them to be able to arrive at a particular point. And meanwhile, midway, federal government rightly came with their would I say their carrot and stick measure. At the time, they now threw the one that they said, if you insist on 250,000 naira minimum wage, we're going to give you. But you are going to allow us, we will hike the fuel pump price from where it is now to 1,500 and 2,000 naira. That's federal government speaking. Then NLC now looked at it side by side and discovered that even if we allow this, it's not only the workers of Nigeria. What about the unemployed? We have more of the unemployed than even the employed, let alone we start talking about the underemployed. Now, NLC now looked at it and now said, okay, we are going with the 70,000 naira, only with the understanding that there won't be a hike again. There won't be a hike again. Now, every hands are going to come to deck so that we'll begin to look for a solution to fix the issue of our economy and not to raise any cost on the fuel pump price again. But shockingly, that was why NLC were announced yesterday crying foul that federal government had betrayed them.
Yeah.
So the other way around, you will remember again, it's not even about NNPC alone. Now you now remember that the Presidential Committee on VAT are currently talking about increasing the VAT from 7.5% to 10%.
I'm aware.
So for goodness sake, and mind you, it may not have last this weekend, and you see it become a reality. Because for them to increase, it doesn't take them anything. They do that. But remember that the minimum wage we're talking about up to now is not yet being paid. They are still talking about that they're raising committees on how to effect the differences and more. You know, how to effect it, how to build it, do this, the permutations and more. They are still talking about it up to now, even after a month to 2 months that they have finished the discussion. So for goodness sake, Obon, I remember the 70,000 naira is not up to purchasing a bag of rice, even local bag, local rice brand. It's not able to buy it. Now, for goodness sake, what are we talking about? If had it been we have time now, we would have taken it side by side with the cost of fuel pump price at UK. And that of Nigeria. And of course, the minimum wage at UK, maybe you check it by hours, hourly pay.
I get that.
Then that of Nigeria. We'll look at that.
I wish we had time. We don't have the luxury of time. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you for your
input. Thank you, Bon Kings.
Thank you so much. And this will be the size of the package today on the Eastern Business Report. You can join in on this conversation. Drop off a comment or two on our dedicated After Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/After and while you're there, do well to hit the like button and, of course, subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning live from Enugu State, Nigeria. Coming up next is Onya Afia. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.